This is the best chocolate cake and it is so easy to make. Follow along and make this. It is so good. First, make sure you screenshot all these ingredients so you have it on hand when you go to the store and as you're watching this video. Go ahead and turn on the oven and put 1 stick of butter in a baking dish and put it in the oven so it can melt. Get 3 bowls. I always get 3, 1 for dry, 1 for wet, and 1 for garbage. It'll make it way easy while you're doing it. Start with your flour. You really want to measure this properly, otherwise your cake will be really dense. So most of the time I don't do it properly, I just shove my measuring cup in, but for cake you really want to measure properly. To do that, grab a spoon, put the flour into the measuring cup until it gets to the top. This is the hardest part of the whole cake, but trust me, it is worth it to really take the time to do this. Once you fill it up, take a butter knife and scrape it along the back so that it's even, just like I'm doing here. I'm actually putting this into the trash container that I haven't used yet, and then I'll put that back into the flour later. So measure out all your flour. You need 1 cup and 3/4, so 1 3/4 cup. Now add your sugar, 2 cups white sugar. I just measure straight from the container into the bowl. It doesn't have to be precise. Make sure if it has chunks like mine did that you use your measuring cup and push it out. Now get your unsweetened cocoa powder and you will add 1 cup of that into the flour and sugar mixture. Now pause and take the butter out of the oven and let it cool. Now we'll add our baking soda and baking powder. If your baking soda is new, cut it open so that you can wipe it off at the top here. And for your baking soda and baking powder, I would recommend putting it through a sifter or a sieve, whichever one you have on hand. That way it prevents any chunks from getting into your cake. You would also add your salt here too. I forgot to show that, and I also didn't show the baking powder, but you'll add both of those here. When you're done, put your baking soda in a bag. Now add your espresso or ground coffee. That's what I always have on hand. Now whisk the dry ingredients really well. Make sure they're really well mixed. There's no chunks. Everything is well incorporated. Put your whisk into your trash bowl. Now we'll go on to our wet ingredients. Add 2 eggs. I like to add those first so I can see if I drop a shell. If you happen to drop a shell, no worries. Use the bigger part of the shell to fish it out. Here, I'm just showing you how to do that if that happens. It happens to me a lot. But definitely do it by itself. Now you add 1 cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Mix that really well with a whisk. You want this to be really well incorporated before you add anything else. Now we will add our butter. Make sure it's cool to the touch. If not, wait on this for a bit. Add it to the wet mixture, mix that well. Add that into the dry mixture. Using a rubber spatula, you're going to mix that really well. It'll be a little bit thick. Here you'll add your cup of hot boiling water. This is Future Raven editing 7 months later. You could also just add a cup of boiling coffee instead of just plain hot water. You would skip the step of adding the powdered coffee earlier in the dry ingredients. Both turn out fine. Once you add the water or coffee, this is how it will look. Grease your cake pans. I didn't have those at the time, so I just use these square. I just use butter and then I put a little bit of cocoa powder on the bottom, kind of push it around. That helps it to not stick. You could skip that if you want. You could also just put parchment paper on there. And then you're going to put half of the batter in one and half in the second one. Bang it on the counter to get out any air bubbles, and then you're ready to bake. Bake at 350 for 28 to 35 minutes. Definitely check at the early end. You don't want to overbake. Take it out when a knife or a toothpick comes out with moist crumbs. I kind of overbaked this one, but it was fine. Then you take it out, let it cool a little bit, take it out of the pan, and then you're good to go. This one, I did not let it cool enough, so I had to pry it out. I just did not give myself enough time. But something I've learned since recording this video is to wrap it in plastic wrap while it's hot and put it in the freezer. And it will give you the best, most moist, delicious cake ever. So you could either just fully let it cool, like I'm doing here, or try the hack of putting it into the freezer in plastic wrap and then you decorate it while it's still frozen. The best, the best, the best. Anyway, here I had to pry it out, so don't be like me. let it wait a little bit. But this would have been helped if I had put parchment paper instead of the cocoa powder. So here you have a wonderful cake. Decorate it, fill it however you wish. This is so delicious. Everyone you serve it to will love it. And if they don't, who cares?